Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back here again today for another episode of our Project S6 build series. On today's video, guys, we're going to be providing a 6-month later update for our APR Stage 3 Project Audi S6. So without further ado, let's get started. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in. If for anybody new, welcome. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. We've got an excellent library of detailed, high quality automotive content. Your support is much appreciated. So as far as our Project S6, as you guys know, it's been a little while since I posted a video. Last time, you guys remember, we did have an issue as far as post-brake installation. The car was throwing an unhappy ABS fault code. Basically just had to go to the dealership, allow them to do some VCDS programming to readapt the module after the brakes. Not something I've encountered before, a little bit weird, but you know, that's just the kind of quirks you run into with these types of cars. But all is good, can't complain. Brand new brakes, pads, rotors, all the way around. I'm pretty happy with the results. So I've been getting a lot of questions looking at the C7 4-liter platform here with this S6, and I want to take some time to kind of speak to any of you guys out there watching. If you're on the fence, if you're thinking about one of these cars, what can you really expect? So from the perspective of a daily driver, it's a very comfortable car, very spacious, definitely lots of room for activities, having that massive trunk space, definitely a family-friendly car. You're gonna find yourself with, I would say, an abundance of room. One thing you need to be mindful of with these cars is they can be excellent cars. However, looking at the index as far as maintenance, reliability, service bulletins, there are going to be some things that have to be addressed. Maintenance and reliability, guys, I think a lot of people are definitely a little bit concerned when it comes to looking at getting a 4-liter car. And I can understand that, because right out of the box, I don't care what your mileage is. I don't care if it's a C7, C7.5. There's a very high probability that you're going to have to address the oil screen. You're going to have to replace the turbos. If you're going to go through the lengths to remove the oil screen, in my view, it just doesn't really make any logical sense not to replace and upgrade the turbos while you're in there. This car in particular, APR Stage 3, running HPA Motorsport RS7 turbos. It's a very simple turnkey solution. You've got an off-the-shelf tune. We've got our matching DSG transmission software. I would say if you want a plug-and-play, simple solution, you're not going to have to venture into complicated upgrades with fueling, custom tuning, anything like that. So if you want to set it and forget it, this is a good package to look at. Now, that being said, moving on to power. Again, this is a daily driver. Is it enough power? Is it too much power? This particular setup right here, APR Stage 3, full bolt-ons, 93 octane, well over 600 horsepower, 600 foot-pounds. Of course, those are crank figures, which in my view is just more than enough power for a daily. I mean, this car, yes, it is heavy, but it does move its weight very efficiently. Not to mention, of course, you combine that with the grip that you're gonna get from the Quattro system. Now, if you guys at any point, if you're looking for more of a detailed cost breakdown for this build, I'll be sure to leave a card right up here if you wanna check that video out. It's going to give you a full in-depth cost breakdown for how much it costs to build a Stage 3 C7 Audi S6. So one of the biggest things I want to address here, because I get a lot of questions looking at, you know, should I get one of these cars? What can I expect? What is your satisfaction level with this car? 6 months of ownership. The biggest thing, guys, if you're going to get one of these cars, is you need to have a very solid emergency fund. You need to have a budget set aside to address these commonly known issues with the 4.0T. Whether it be oil screens, turbos, software to support bigger turbos, you've got air suspension, you've got motor mounts. There's definitely a lot of components, a lot of pieces of the puzzle. So therefore, you need to have a solid budget in place so you have that safety net when problems should arise. You guys saw in my case, starting out less than 30 days of ownership for this car, the PCV went out. Definitely something that is very inconvenient, not something that you're gonna have a fun time if you're gonna try to tackle that at home. So once again, always wanna make sure you've got the safety net. So as I mentioned before, guys, overall satisfaction in terms of performance, horsepower, and torque figures, this car makes a lot of power. I mean, there's really not that many other cars, in my view, that are attainable at this price range that have that same level of potential capability for making big boy power. I would also like to spend a little bit of time talking about the transmission on this car. This model does have the DL501 DSG. This transmission they actually do not make anymore. It is an older DSG model. I will be very transparent with you guys. I am not the biggest fan of this transmission. You guys know my background. I used to have an Audi A3, which is the DQ250 trans. I found that this particular transmission, the DL501, is just not quite as snappy as the transmissions found in the 2-liter cars, you know, like your GTIs, Golf Rs, A3s, S3s, whatever. So there's always going to be a give and take, right? There's no perfect platform, but again, I don't know if it's just because it's an older design. I'm not sure if just because the drivetrain is so much longer. There's definitely some possibilities there, but that is one point of criticism. I am not the biggest fan of the DL501 trans. The DSG tune does make a very noticeable improvement, but nevertheless, it's just not quite as responsive as I would like it to be. You guys obviously know there's probably a reason why they don't make this transmission anymore. You can see the way the industry has shifted towards ZF8 transmissions across the board. Pretty much everybody is moving that direction. So again, I can see why a lot of those contributing factors would lead manufacturers to take that route instead. So day-to-day driving, again, comfortable, spacious sedan, lots of room, very nice, luxurious refinement as you'd expect on a car at this original price point. Very quiet, very comfortable. As far as long road trips, I would say the car does incredibly well. You saw we did a video recently with JR14. Went to drive about 4 or 5 hours roughly. Did a little collaboration there, which again, I'll be sure to leave a card right up here. Check that out if you want to see a pretty hilarious launch control reaction from my man JR.
Oh, shit. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow. Oh. Oh, wow.
The car was very comfortable, very smooth, very stable on the highway. That's one thing where I would say that's definitely a department where air suspension shines, is you just literally feel like you're just floating down the highway. Now, as far as general service and maintenance, definitely quite a few things on the list that I've taken care of just in the short 6 months that I've had this car. Oil change, DSG service, differential fluid, pads, rotors, coolant, you name it. Always want to do what I can to be proactive, make sure everything is up to standards. I would strongly recommend, if you haven't already, if you're thinking about getting one of these cars, I would encourage you to build a relationship with a shop that has a good understanding of high-end European cars. I can tell you for sure, if you go to a dealership on one of these cars, that labor is really gonna kick your butt. So if you're not a do-it-yourself kind of guy, I would encourage you to build that relationship with an aftermarket shop that knows high-end European repair. That way you can be a little bit more prepared when you might have some issues or concerns. It's not gonna be a catastrophe. Unless, of course, you try to change your pads and rotors at home and you get a catastrophic ABS fault code. Next topic, guys, what kind of gas mileage can you expect with a 600 horsepower twin turbo V8? I don't think anybody buys this car for gas mileage, so this is probably not that important, but for some of you guys that have been asking, at this point in time, we're averaging about 19, 20 miles per gallon, combined both city and highway driving. Some of you may know that these cars from factory do have cylinder deactivation. So once you're up to highway speeds, the car can basically shut off 4 cylinders to run on 4 cylinders only out of a total of 8. I feel like in the long run, this would contribute to some uneven wear amongst different cylinders. So you'll find that a lot of performance software, you know, APR, IE, all that kind of stuff, you can eliminate the cylinder deactivation. That's definitely the way I would go if you decide to tune, upgrade one of these cars. So I hope you guys are finding this information helpful. Again, if you're thinking about possibly doing an S6 build, maybe an S7, any 4.0T platform, this is just general information, what you can expect, some basic guidelines for owning and maintaining these cars. Going full circle here, guys. Very fun cars, lots of potential to make some serious gains, but I always say have your wallet ready. There's always a chance that expensive repairs can appear very suddenly, so you always want to make sure that you're prepared and you're in a position to cover those unexpected expenses. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. 6 months of ownership for our Project S6. Hope you guys find this information helpful. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date with more upcoming content. I appreciate all the support. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.